In the stillness of silence, we tap into something far greater than ourselves, the infinite intelligence of the quantum field. This field is the space where all possibilities exist, where everything we seek is already present in an energetic form, waiting for us to align with it. But the mind, always seeking control, often interferes. It analyzes, doubts, and questions, creating resistance between where we are and where we want to be. When we stay silent, we step beyond the noise of the analytical mind and enter a state of pure presence, where thoughts lose their grip and energy begins to flow effortlessly. Everything in the universe operates through vibration and frequency. Our thoughts and emotions send out signals, much like a radio tower broadcasting a frequency. If we are constantly thinking, worrying, and trying to force things to happen, we are unknowingly broadcasting mixed signals, creating confusion in the field. But when we enter silence, our energy stabilizes. We become calm, centered, and in tune with the intelligence that governs all creation. In this state, we no longer chase outcomes. We become the outcome. The energy of what we desire is already within us. And by staying silent, we allow it to naturally take form in our reality. This is why moments of deep silence, whether through meditation, stillness, or mindful observation, are so powerful. When we quiet the mind, we access the intuitive guidance that leads us to exactly where we need to be. The solutions we were struggling to find suddenly appear. The right opportunities flow into our lives effortlessly, and synchronicities begin to unfold in ways we could never have predicted. It is not that things magically happen by doing nothing. Rather, we create the space for things to happen by not interfering with the natural flow. The great sages, visionaries, and enlightened beings throughout history understood this truth. They knew that true power does not come from force, but from alignment. When we trust in the intelligence of the universe and silence the constant chatter of the mind, we shift from a state of control to a state of allowing. And in this state, everything we seek comes to us, not through struggle, but through natural alignment. So stay silent, trust, and watch as life unfolds effortlessly before you. We have been conditioned to believe that we must constantly strive, push, and control every aspect of our lives to get what we want. But the more we chase something, the more it seems to elude us. This is because forcing an outcome creates resistance, and resistance keeps us disconnected from the natural flow of life. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about trusting that what is meant for us will come, not through struggle, but through alignment. When we stay silent and surrender, we shift from trying to control life to allowing life to unfold as it is meant to. Imagine holding water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. But if you relax your hands, the water remains effortlessly. This is the same with our desires. When we overthink, doubt, or obsess over outcomes, we create tension, sending signals of lack and fear into the quantum field. But when we release that need to control, we open the space for possibilities to manifest naturally. Silence is the gateway to surrender. It allows us to step back, detach from mental noise, and trust in the intelligence of the universe. Every time we quiet the mind, we shift from a state of resistance to a state of receptivity. Instead of trying to force solutions, we allow them to come. Instead of chasing opportunities, we become the energy that attracts them effortlessly. The moment we stop struggling is the moment things begin to align in ways we never expected. This does not mean we do nothing. It means we act from a place of trust rather than desperation. When we surrender, we no longer act out of fear, but out of inspired knowing. The right people, situations, and answers start to appear without force because we are finally in flow with the rhythm of life. Everything we want is already on its way to us, but it can only arrive when we create the space for it to enter. So stay silent, let go, and allow what is meant for you to come naturally. We often believe that words are the most powerful tool we have for communication, but in reality, our energy speaks far louder than anything we say. The vibration we carry, the emotions we emit, and the state of being we embody are constantly shaping our reality. Without saying a word, we are always sending out signals into the quantum field. And those signals determine what we attract into our lives. When we remain silent and shift our internal state, we naturally begin to draw in the very things we once thought we had to chase. Consider how you can sense the presence of a person without them speaking. Some people walk into a room and instantly bring a sense of calm and peace, while others carry a chaotic or restless energy that can be felt without them saying a single word. This is because our energy is a reflection of our inner state, and the universe responds to it accordingly. When we are constantly talking, explaining, or trying to convince others, or even ourselves, we are often acting out of insecurity or a need for control. But when we stay silent and align with the right energy, we naturally attract. This is why being still and mindful of our inner world is so powerful. Instead of focusing on what we need to say or do, we focus on who we are being. If we embody peace, we attract peace. If we radiate abundance, abundance flows to us. If we vibrate at the frequency of love, love finds its way to us effortlessly. There is no need to force or manipulate outcomes because the universe mirrors back to us exactly what we put out. When we truly understand this, we stop seeking external validation. We no longer need to prove ourselves, explain our worth, or convince others of what we already know deep within. We recognize that silence is not emptiness, it is power. In silence, we cultivate the energy of what we desire, and as we do, life responds in ways that feel almost magical. So, stay silent, embody the energy of what you seek, and watch as everything you desire gravitates toward you naturally. The mind is constantly active, processing thoughts, analyzing situations, and trying to make sense of everything around us. But in this constant mental activity, we often lose touch with the deeper intelligence within us. The brain, when overstimulated, falls into repetitive thought patterns, cycles of doubt, fear, and limitation that keep us stuck in the same reality. When we stay silent and allow the mind to rest, something remarkable happens. The brain begins to rewire itself, opening new pathways for clarity, intuition, and transformation. Silence is not just the absence of noise. It is a powerful state in which the brain can reorganize itself. Studies have shown that moments of stillness enhance neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to create new neural connections. When we let go of unnecessary chatter, we make space for new thoughts, new perspectives, and new possibilities. The subconscious mind, which stores our deepest beliefs and habits, begins to shift in response to this silence. What once seemed impossible starts to feel natural because we are no longer reinforcing old mental limitations. Beyond science, there is also a deeper truth to silence. When we quiet the mind, we tune into the intelligence that exists beyond thought. The greatest insights, the most profound ideas, and the clearest answers do not come from overthinking. They emerge when we are in a state of deep presence. This is why meditation has been practiced by enlightened beings for centuries. It is not about escaping reality, but about rewiring the mind to perceive reality differently. In silence, we also reconnect with our intuition. We begin to sense the right path without needing logical explanations. The right decisions feel effortless, and synchronicities begin to appear, guiding us toward what is meant for us. There is no need to struggle or analyze excessively because the answers flow naturally from within. When we embrace silence as a tool for inner transformation, we shift from reacting to life to creating it consciously. We no longer let old patterns dictate our future, but instead allow new possibilities to emerge. The brain, once caught in cycles of doubt, becomes a tool for expansion and clarity, and in this clarity, we align with the effortless flow of the universe. So, stay silent, trust the process, and let your mind become a gateway to infinite possibilities. In the fast-paced world we live in, we are constantly reacting to people, situations, and even our own thoughts. We allow external events to dictate our emotions, and in doing so, we lose touch with our true selves. But when we stay silent, something shifts. Instead of reacting, we begin to observe. We create space between ourselves and our thoughts, between external triggers and our responses. This space is where true awareness begins, and with awareness comes transformation. Most of us operate on autopilot, driven by unconscious patterns and habits that were formed long ago. These patterns shape how we see the world, how we behave, and even what we attract into our lives. If we never take a step back in silence, we remain trapped in the same cycles, repeating the same experiences over and over again. But when we stay silent, we become the observer of our own mind. We begin to notice the thoughts that arise, the emotions that surface, and the way we respond to life. This awareness is the first step to breaking free from old conditioning. Silence also allows us to detach from the illusions created by the external world. We live in a society that constantly bombards us with information, opinions, and expectations. It tells us who we should be, what we should do, and how we should feel. But when we remain silent, we stop being influenced by these outside forces. We start listening to our own inner wisdom instead. We realize that much of what we once believed was never truly ours. It was borrowed from others, shaped by societal conditioning. Through silence, we strip away what is not authentic and reconnect with who we really are. As we cultivate self-awareness through silence, we also develop emotional mastery. We no longer get pulled into unnecessary conflicts, drained by negative emotions, or controlled by fleeting thoughts. Instead, we become grounded, centered, and at peace with ourselves. And when we are at peace internally, our external reality begins to reflect that peace. The world no longer controls us. We become the creators of our own experience. In silence, we discover a deeper intelligence within us, an intuitive knowing that does not rely on logic or external validation. This is the intelligence that guides us effortlessly toward the life we are meant to live. So stay silent, observe without reaction, and allow self-awareness to unlock the limitless potential within you. Life moves in rhythms, in cycles, in perfect harmony with the intelligence of the universe. Just as the sun rises and sets without force, just as the seasons change without resistance, everything in existence follows a natural flow. But as human beings, we often struggle against this flow. We try to control time, outcomes, and circumstances, believing that if we do not push harder, we will be left behind. Yet, the truth is that the more we force, the more we create resistance. The more we chase, the more things seem to slip away. But when we stay silent, when we trust and allow, everything begins to come to us naturally. There is an unseen order to life, a perfect unfolding that happens when we step out of the way. The opportunities we are seeking, the answers we are chasing, and the transformations we desire, they are all already on their way to us. But they cannot arrive if we are constantly interfering, doubting, or trying to control the process. Silence teaches us patience. It reminds us that what is meant for us will never miss us, and what is not meant for us will never stay. When we stop resisting and start trusting, we align ourselves with the natural timing of the universe. Often, we think we must act constantly to make things happen, but inspired action is very different from desperate action. When we force things, we act out of fear, impatience, or lack. But when we are in silence, we connect with a deeper knowing. We begin to recognize when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to listen. There is no longer a need for struggle because our actions flow from alignment rather than desperation. Nature does not rush, yet everything is accomplished. A river does not force its way to the ocean. It simply flows, trusting that it will reach its destination. In the same way, when we trust the natural flow of life, we stop fighting against it. The right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances come to us effortlessly. Life becomes less about striving and more about allowing. So stay silent, trust the unfolding, and watch as everything you desire finds its way to you in perfect timing.